Hi, I'm Malcolm Roundtree, and today the topic I'll be discussing is thought terminating cliches. So you might ask, what actually is a thought terminating cliche? Well, a thought terminating cliche is exactly how it sounds. It's something that is straightforward and to the point that brings an end to the conversation. So when it says thought terminating, it's because it's terminating or ending the thought process that's going along with the topic that's at hand. And it might sound like a mouthful and kind of hard to say, but it's actually an easy concept to think of, and it's actually used in everyday life, and many just might not notice it. So, my first question for the class is, how many of you guys have had to deal with someone who's stressed out or in a bad place, and you've been there to comfort them or help them? Well, some of the terms that you might use when doing this is actually considered a thought terminating cliche. The one thing is the phrase "it's all good." This is straight to the point and showing the person that everything's going to be okay, and just reassuring them that everything will be eventually be okay. And that's kind of the thing that's ending. So you're kind of just ending the other possibilities would happen and trying to ensure this person will be okay. Another example is stop thinking so much. So if someone's stressed out about what's going on in their day or something like that, if when saying stop thinking so much, it's kind of bringing an end to that thought that they have in their mind of what could happen and just saying, oh, stop thinking so much, everything will be okay. And that's kind of why it's a thought terminating cliche. Another way that a thought terminating cliche could be brought up is for terms like you gotta do what you gotta do. So when someone asks you like what they should do, if you just respond, you gotta do what you gotta do, it ends the conversation there or the thought process that you were thinking of and it tells them like you gotta do what you gotta do. So it's in their hands and they gotta figure out what is best for them and what suits them best. So it's not really ending the conversation totally, it's kind of just ending the thought process that you have in your mind. Another example of thought terming cliches can be found in television. This is prevalent all the time, from commercials to actual TV shows, and in that case, an example for this is commercials are for Arby's, and when they say Arby's, we have the meats. Everyone knows this commercial because it's played so often. And the reason why Arby's slogan is a thought terminating cliche is because straight to the point, saying that Arby's has the meats, and that's what they're trying to advertise. So it's not really ending a conversation in a sense because it's a slogan, but it's saying straight that they have meats and that's what they're trying to advertise. Same goes for another example. IHOP. Their slogan is "Come hungry, leave happy." Very straight to the point. You're hungry, you go to IHOP, you end up leaving happy. I love IHOP, and that's a perfect slogan for them because every time I come in hungry and I leave happy. So right there, thoughts terminating cliche because it's just straight to the point saying, come hungry and you will end up leaving happy. So slogans are a perfect example of thought terminating cliches. Another way that thought terminating cliches are used in everyday life is in for politicians, and you could see that in our president now, Donald Trump. He uses thought terminating cliches all the time. You could see his rants on Twitter or just his sayings on Twitter, just stuff that he says in general. But one of the main things that he does is make America great again. You can see that on his hats, on his Twitter, on almost anything involved with Donald Trump. And the reason why this is a thought terminating cliche is because it says make America great again. And that shows that America was once great in a sense, and now he's trying to make it better. So that's the end of the end of the conversation or the thought process that he's saying, "Make America great again," as we gotta make America great again, and that's the purpose of what he's trying to get across and what he's trying to say. And this brought him to his, I guess, rise to power and how he's the president today. Because "Make America Great Again" is just such a popular slogan, and whenever you think about it, it's Donald Trump. So honestly, one of the most important thought turning cliches is from our president today, and that's a great example on how it is used. Another way that thought terminating cliches are brought up in today's world is when politicians are debating or just talking against each other. So a good example of this is a couple weeks ago when some of the delegates were talking and debating at one of the presidential debates. Joe Biden actually said, "But I'm the only one on stage who's gotten anything really big done." So someone was coming at him for what he has done and what he has previously done. But when saying this certain phrase of he's the only one that's gotten things done, this was kind of an end to the conversation. He was stating clear and straight to the point that he's the only one that's gotten things done. And that's why it's a thought terminating cliche, because he is stating what he's done and it's straightforward to the point, and it kind of just ends the conversation there, the thought process, because you could think of what has he done or what hasn't he done, but he's saying he's the only one that's gotten things done. Another way that politicians will use thought terminating cliche is when they say we can agree to disagree. This is the famous thought terminating cliche because you guys are agreeing to disagree, but that's it. You guys are That's the straightforward fact. You guys are agreeing to disagree, but you guys aren't going to keep on debating back and forth. You kind of just end the thought process. That's why it's called a thought terminating cliche, because you guys are agreeing to disagree. So it's kind of strange, but that's kind of what it's all about. And these are just some of the examples of thought terminating cliches and how it is found in today's world all over, and you might have no idea what it is. So even though thought terminating cliches might sound like a mouthful and very hard to process, it's actually a very simple and just something that we use every day in everyday life. And these are some of the examples that I've given. So thought terminating cliches, when you hear it now, you could think of slogans. You could just think of some of the quick things that will just end the conversation there and just get straight to the point. So next time you're in a very long and lengthy conversation, maybe try using one of these thought terminating cliches to try to change the topic or move on to something else. And these are a great example of some of the things that you guys could do. Thank you. I appreciate watching my presentation.